to get an amendment.
Formal meeting.
I need to add an action to add purchases.
Hey, how y'all? Good, sir. How are you?
Nasty out there. Had
It's a good
David Powers on last year twice. Parking lot. Green. Like,
Really? I don't know about everybody, and it amazes me how it goes through that thing.
you're right. It's like a doctor.
It's spitting them out.
How many youngins to do the pledge? The other year people will do it. The folks, teachers of the year will come and do it. Teacher of the year. Hello. Oh, y'all welcome to have some, y'all. Someone come with me.
I got them all.
Now, it's a drama from the medicine. So we do good. We can play ball with seats, can't we? You ready, Jason?
Yep, that's right. Mr. McCoy is on virtual.
I'd like to call the Monday, June 12th, 2023 regular board, Blaine County School Board meeting to order. Appreciate y'all being here. Thank you for what you do for the schools and your support and your interest in us. Being here on a day like today really shows some interest, and we thank you. Appreciate it. At this time, Mr. Clark will give our invocation, and then I think we have some folks that'll do our pledge for us after that.
Please bow your heads. Dear Lord, we come unite to ask for your wisdom and guidance. We try to make the best and sound decisions for the students of Blaine County Schools. Amen.
Chairman Benton and board members, tonight we have Ms. Lynn Boonhour, Ms. Kathy Frazier, Ms. Reba Orr, and Ms. Stephanie Norris. These are some of our of the year recognition individuals, and they're going to lead us in the pledge of allegiance tonight.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I didn't think about it.
Okay, before we move ahead with the agenda, we have an item that we need to add, 9.05, the parking lot issue at East Bladen. So I entertain a motion and a motion that we approve an amended agenda by adding action item 9.5.
So moved.
Second.
Hey, been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Not all those in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed likewise. There's none, motion carries. So we'll add Dr. Atkinson 9.05 to our action items. Okay, now I'll entertain a motion that we adopt tonight's agenda.
Make a motion, we adopt tonight's agenda.
Second.
And moving proper seconded that we approve tonight's agenda. Any discussion? No discussion. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed likewise. No opposition, motion carries. So we have approved the agenda for tonight. Item number 5. Entertain a motion that we approve our consent agenda.
Make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
Second. Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded that we approve the consent agenda for tonight. Is there any discussion? There is none. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. All opposed likewise. There's none. Motion carries to approve the consent agenda for tonight. And at this time, that gives us the number 6, spotlights and recognition. Dr. Axon, I'll turn it over to you for that.
Thank you, Chairman Benton and board members. We have several recognitions we'd like to do tonight of our staff. And we'll be beginning with the Teacher Assistants of the Year. Ms. Deborah Guyton will be assisting us with calling those names.
Good evening. We will start with the teacher assistants of the year. And the first teacher assistant is Carol Artiega. Peyton Jones, Bladensboro Primary. Angel Taylor, Dublin Primary. Wanda Daniels, East Arcadia. Sarah Lynn Hayes, Elizabethtown Middle. Venetia Singletary, Plainview Primary. Bonnie Hargrove, West Bladen.
First, y'all stand.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Beginning teacher of the year, Maria Jackson.
We do have the Teacher of the Assistant of the Year, Peyton Jones. She's able to be with us this evening.
Beginning teacher of the year, Maria Jackson, representing Bladen Lakes and East Arcadia. Rebecca Harvey, Bladensboro Middle. Christina Blaine, Dublin Primary. Terry Chavis, East Bladen. Vicky Tolbert, Elizabethtown Primary. Lynn Boomhauer, Tar Heel Middle School. One, two, that's one, it's 1, 2, 3. Wait, don't.
Now, the Bladen County Schools 23-24 beginning teacher of the year is Miss Lynn Boomhauer. Thank y'all so much.
CTE Teacher of the Year is Kathy Frazier, representing East Bladen. Mary Todd, West Bladen.
And our 23, 24, 16 teacher, Ms. Kathy. raise your hand.
Teachers of the year, Holly Lehan, Bladen Early College. Sherry Hayes, Bladen Lake. Melissa Freeman, Bladen Borough Primary. Joy Autry, Bladen Borough Middle. Victoria Bridgers, Clarkson School of Discovery. Courtney Brisson, Dublin Primary. Angela Dallas, East Arcadia. Sunday Allen, East Bladen. Paula Beck, Elizabethtown Middle. Christy Smith, Elizabethtown Primary. Victoria Corbett, Plainview Primary. Julia Gilmore, Tar Heel Middle. Reba Orr, West Bladen. Yeah.
And the 23, 24 teacher of the year for Bladen County Schools is Ms. Reba Orr.
And now it is my very great pleasure to announce the Bladen County Schools Principal of the Year, Ms. Stephanie Norris.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And our final spotlight for this evening, we have Ms. Elizabeth Ann Brown for completion of the North Carolina State Superintendent's Aspiring Superintendents Program. So congratulations to Ms. Brown. Chairman Benton and board members, that concludes our spotlights for this evening.
Okay, we move to number 7, citizen participation.
There's none tonight.
Done today. Then we'll move on to item number 8, information. 8.01 Tar Heel School construction project update.
Thank you, Chairman Benton and board members. Mr. Burris was unable to be with us this evening. You received a copy of the current update in board docs. Great progress being made at the school. In fact, I'll be sharing my update. It's our plan for you all to tour the facility at our next scheduled board meeting, starting there. But if you have any questions you'd like me to relay to Mr. Burris, I'll do so and get you all that information back. But we just wanted to provide the most recent update for you all.
Okay, thank you, Dr. X. And 8.02 salary study options, Ms. Susan.
Good evening, board. I just wanted to kind of give you an update. I know the questions come about doing a salary study for our classified employees, which is our non-certified employees. I have spoken with a couple of companies that will do a salary study for us. But my recommendation would be the state is already doing this. And we are waiting now on the actual, I've got the salary scales or the minimum and maximums. I don't have where everybody will be placed on it, but it will be effective July 1, 2024, and it will be mandatory that we increase the salary scale for non-certified employees. I know the salary study that the state did, they looked at outside organizations, not public schools, and the salaries are comparable to the outside salaries. And this is as far as your classified employees with your maintenance, your administrative assistants, your bookkeeper, child nutritionists, the whole salary scale. So as soon as I get some more information on that, I'm waiting. I have a webinar on Thursday and I'm hoping they're going to give us some information then. I will bring it back to you so that you can see the difference in those salary scales.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Harris.
You're welcome.
And we'll move on to 8.03 CTE update, Ms. Mills.
If I could ask y'all to take your packet, your PowerPoint out of your packet.
I have to take one of these issues.
Okay. Well, you got a plan B?
There's a power flash.
So, the second page in your packet highlights. It really highlights the CTE program as a whole. We essentially have 5 divisions. Well, right here. And within those 5 divisions, we have 13 pathways. And then within the 13 pathways, we have over 50 credentials that we offer. That's just an overview. I'm not gonna read it to you. Next page. That's, can I see it? It starts with CTE concentrator. I didn't introduce myself. I apologize. I'm Dana Belvin Mills. I'm the Career and Technical Education Director for Bladen County Schools. So the first thing that we'll highlight is what is a CTE concentrator? So in order to be a CTE concentrator, our students complete a series of courses. That's all that they do. You look at the example I've given you. I started with animal science just because it's on the top of the alphabet. So we have, if a student wants to have a job in animal science, they have lots of job opportunities in Bladen County, correct? Okay, I agree. So they can take Animal Science 1 as part of their high school career. Then they move on to Animal Science 2, Food Animal. That's what we offer. When they complete those 2 courses, they are now a completer. That's all they have to do to be a CTE completer. Which I'm not serving back to anybody, sorry. So the rest of that column or the rest of that row are opportunities that our students have in addition to the 2 completer courses. So they can participate in an internship, a pre-apprenticeship, what's called a supervised agricultural experience. The credential opportunities that they have in animal science alone are North Carolina Beef Quality Assurance, North Carolina Pork Quality Assurance, and Youth for the Quality Care of Animals. They can complete any of those credentials in our classes. So when they take Animal Science 1 and 2, they already get credit at BCC for that class right there, ANS 110. So that's their introductory animal science course. So What's next at Bladen Community College for our students? They could start the animal husbandry certificate. So that's animal science 110, 111, 150, and farm maintenance 212. I might have said that last class incorrectly, but it's AGR 212. But if you look at animal science 110, they already come with that credit. If they take our animal science 1 and 2. So they also have the opportunity to be a part of the National FFA organization if they choose to do that. We'll turn the page. So that first slide that you had there had over 50 credentials that we offer. I can't stand here and talk to you about all 50. Y'all would not want me to do that, I assume. But I'm gonna just highlight about 5 of them. Okay. So certified nursing assistant is our next one. Where I'm going kind of quick. So our students can participate in health science and leave with a CNA certification. So this is the building block for any nursing career. It's really the backbone of nursing. Multiple nursing schools require a CNA to apply. So we accelerate their further education in that way. They can go straight to work with the CNA as well, in a doctor's office, home health, hospitals, nursing homes, etc. They can even do this in high school. So the average salary of a starting CNA is about $25,260. Turn the page. All right, the next one. FAA 107 unmanned aircraft system. That's where we are. Everybody with me? This thing was kind of weird. So our students can take the FAA 107 credential as part of Drone Technology 1. So that is an actual pilot's license for unmanned aircraft. So the career opportunities available to our students with this credential, they could work for power companies with the average salary of about $59,000 as a starting salary. It could be part of their job at DOT, cell phone companies, private contractors, building contractors. There are delivery agencies that hire drone pilots, Amazon, Walmart, UPS, even fast food delivery. There is a pizza delivery service in Hope Mills that delivers with a drone. I asked if he could deliver to my house and he told me no. But they make about $29,930. Part of real estate jobs can use drones as well as first responders. I did learn this statistic from our current drone teacher, Tim Tatum. About 50,000 additional pilots will be needed in the next 10 years across the country. So we are setting our kids up for good careers so far. Also, our higher education institutions are starting degrees in drone technology, and they have to have the FAA 107 to even apply. We'll flip the firefighter 1, 2, and 3. So we can offer our students all the needed certifications to be a state certified firefighter with the exception of 1. And they can get that with an additional 36 to 38 contact hours. That's about a week out of high school. They can be a state certified firefighter. But what that really translates to is just a faster route through fire academies that already exist. Fayetteville Fire Department, Wilmington Fire Department, etc. There are a lot. The average starting salary is about $41,840.47, but that does not include additional money for training or education. And we'll flip the page. Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, and Excel. We've all heard of that. We've all probably used that. This is a very wide-ranging credential. Higher education exempts our students from certain classes if they come in with that credential. Different careers that students can go straight into the industry with are computer-related, data entry, billing and coding, and administrative. So these credentials result in a higher hourly or salary money, more money, $31,000 and $93,000, depending on the education level. And we'll turn to the next one. National Center for Construction Education and Research, or NCCER, are offered in our woodworking and masonry pathways. The average starting salary is $28,220 in the woodworking arena, $39,500 in the masonry arena. The NCCER card proves that the student knows basic work skills and often results in a higher pay hourly or salary. The last credential we'll talk about is NC Safe Plates. That's our next page. So we offer 2 levels of that. Let's tell us how important these are. We offer food handler and food and nutrition 1. And that allows the student to step straight into the food industry and go straight to work with an average salary of about $20,000. Food manager is offered in food and nutrition too. And that, of course, introduces the student to a managerial type position with 59,980 being the average starting salary. That's a big jump in those two credentials. And both of those credentials are good for 5 years, and it allows our students to go straight into the industry with no additional training. So you just saw these, we're flipping the page, sorry. I'm trying to not bore you. So you just saw 3 of these folks walk through here, but I just wanted to point out, because I'm gonna bring on our folks for a few minutes. Our Bladen County Schools CTE Teacher of the Year is Miss Kathy Frazier. And she submitted a portfolio to the regional level to be right there. We'll turn the page. Our Bladen County Schools Beginning Teacher of the Year was Miss Lynn Boomhauer. She's in her first year of teaching agriculture. And our next page, our Bladen County Schools Teacher of the Year is Miss Reva Orr. She's in her 9th year of teaching agriculture and serving as an MFA advisor. So we had 3 of our CTE teachers recognized by their peers out on the county level. That's a very good thing. This last sheet highlights some statistics from the 2021-22 school year. And now that you know what a CTE concentrator is, it'll help you read this flashy document a little bit better. So anywhere it says CTE concentrator, those are the students who have completed that series of courses toward their career. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Ms. Mills. Okay, at this time, we'll move on to number 9, action items, 9.01, consideration of resolution regarding the Booker T. Washington property. Dr. Atkins.
Thank you, Chairman Benton, Board Member Innovation. A couple months ago, we had discussed the Booker T. Washington property. I think, and Mr. Grady can obviously chime in here on the statutory requirements. Right now, we are not using that facility except for some storage in some areas where, we had some training rooms there. Those no longer being used. Obviously, some concerns about safety in the building itself. And as we know from North Carolina General Statute, when we have a property or, whether it's be a vacant school, vacant support building, whatever, statutory requirements require the board to declare that as no longer feasible for school use. And then the first order is to draft a resolution to go to the county commissioners. We have to offer that to the county first before we take any other steps. Mr. Grady, did I cover all that correctly?
Yeah, I think that it's no longer necessary. There are 2 steps. Number 1, you've got to pass a resolution that the property is no longer necessary for school purposes. And then you would have to offer it to the county, a first right of refusal at fair market value or price to be negotiated by the board and the county.
Thus, our request tonight for the board's consideration is to allow Mr. Grady and I to draft that resolution and present that to the county on behalf of the Board of Education.
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
And then moved and properly seconded that the draft a resolution to offer the Booker T. Washington property to the county. Is there any discussion?
As long as we're able to review the resolution before you send it to the county.
We can do that. Do we need to bring it back for consent next month? Just
Yeah, I
we can do that. We can do consent.
Any more discussion? There is no more discussion. All those in favor of the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise? There is none. Motion carries. Okay, action item 9.02. Spring 2023 custom policy updates. Dr. Axe.
Thank you, Chairman Benton. Members, these are the North Carolina School Board Association policies. They were set aside on the table 2 months ago, remain on the table last month. We would have to remove them from the table to be considered for a vote. So we need a motion to take them off the table for consideration.
Motion to remove from the table. Okay, we entertain a motion to remove 9.02 from the table.
So move.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded that we move 9.02 from the table, that we can vote on that. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed likewise. If none, motion carries. 9.03.
We need to do now we need to take a motion to approve the policies.
Okay, so that's right, we just get off the table. Trying to speed this up too, Ms. Mills. Okay, so we need entertain a motion to approve policy updates.
So moved.
But
Okay, it's been moved and proper second. Any discussion? Here's none. All those in favor, let me know by saying aye. All opposed. None, motion carries. Okay, now we can go to 9.03. Thank you for keeping me in line there. Okay, driver 23-24 driver's education contract, Ms. Mills and Mr. Eddie Jordan.
Good evening again. You have for your consideration the 2023-2024 driver education contract. We have with us tonight Mr. Eddie Jordan of Jordan Driving School of the Carolinas. If you have any questions for either one of us, we are here to answer those questions.
I have a question. Mrs. Jordan, the vehicles, I reviewed the policy, I mean, the information in, well, I didn't see anything there as far as any requirement for the types of vehicles that we're gonna be utilizing and to what specification they're gonna need to be met, especially pertaining to children that are handicapped.
Okay, the vehicles we provide are, we go through an annual DMV inspection as well as what you're doing, your normal inspection for your vehicle. And we just actually went through those, and DMV requires us to have the vehicles equipped with, of course, the dual brakes and signage on the vehicles. But as far as when we have a special needs student that we have to have adaptive equipment, if we're unable to do that with the student, we refer that out to outside resources, and school systems typically help out with that above and beyond what the normal contract would be. That.
Might be more, but what model vehicles do you have?
It depends. I look more at mileage more than anything. Right now, I'm in your school system, I'm running 2000, there were 13s, 14s, and 15s. Most of them have, I think everything I'm running is under 150,000 miles. Right now.
So those vehicles, if they get mechanical breakdown, is that a cost that the school has to cover?
That's our cost, that's our expense.
It's your expense.
We cover everything in the vehicle as far as the annual maintenance on the vehicle and fuel on the vehicle.
I mean, I just want to make that.
Okay, there's no other questions on that. We will entertain a motion that we approve the 23-24 driver's education contract.
Chairman, being I have to remove myself from that vote.
Okay. Entertain a motion.
Excuse me, so moved.
Motion. I'll have a second.
What was the motion?
We're entertaining a motion to approve the 23-24 driver's education contract.
I'll second
Okay, it's now been moved and proper second. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor of approving the 23-24 driver's education contract, let be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed likewise. Don't hear any opposition, motion carries. Okay. 9.04, consideration of athletic facilities repairs, tracks at west and east. Mr. Benny Lennon.
Coming forward today, I've sent Dr. Axel some quotes on some tracks. And I wanted that y'all have a chance to look over that was received.
I do.
There's three on there. One of them, Baden, it's got the base price, but their base price is 1.3 to 1.3 million, but you can subtract or you could take away or add. It's like you build it.
That's for both of them.
That's with both tracks. So that's not together. That's a piece.
Holy.
So, and you got another one in here, Scott's, he pretty much doing the layout of, tells you what all it includes, but if it has to be milled, then he adds in another couple $100,000 because it all depends on, they have to come and test it and all that, but he did give a quote. And then the other one is a venue search, and it gives the base price, I think it's 800. There you go. 885,000 per track. That's your three quotes, and Max, and if we can make a decision to move forward with one of them, and the next board meeting, whichever one is first, I can have them to come in and explain it in the meeting breakdown and what they have to do and the time it'll take.
So you need a recommendation from the board to accept one of these three.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chair,
I make a recommendation that we accept one of the three proposals for the track fields for the school, in Bladen County. Is there a recommendation of a motion?
Well, we need to pick,
I think we need to pick it.
we need to pick one.
Each one of these quotes is per track, right?
Yes, sir.
So either way we slice it, it's gonna be over $1.5 million for both of them with all the quotes. Your lowest.
One of them is 1.1 to 1.3 million by itself.
Yeah.
The other ones is like 830,000 to,
One of them was 700. One of them was 700 and something.
yeah.
One of them.
It's not-
Yeah.
I think west was 700 something, and east was 8. Something like that. So are you saying that we need to pick one and do the same at both schools?
Yes, sir. We have to pick a company to do the tracks, and like I said, whichever one is picked, I will have that company to come and present next board meeting. So they can give you the whole layout of how it's done, how long it's gonna take, and what time.
No problem. So the one with 7 and 8, I'll make that recommendation for that one. I second that.
That a recommendation or a motion?
It's a recommendation.
Mr. Chair. I make a motion, we table it and have one of the companies come talk to us first until everybody can be here to hear what they got to say. And just whichever company the board
If you
wants to
want- if
entertain.
you wanna do that next board meeting, I can have them here. And I can try to get all of them here really, and then that way y'all can get an accurate, more in depth of what they do.
I second that.
Okay, it's been moved properly second that we table 9.04 till next board meeting.
To get those other people here, yeah.
So we're tabling this, but we gonna have these guys come, is that what we're saying?
So,
That's the reason we're tabling it, so he can get somebody here from the companies to talk to us. We got a motion and a second to table it in order to do that. Any more discussion? Not all those in favor of the table, let be known by saying aye. All opposed likewise. Is none, motion carries to table. Some off, one off. Okay, 105, parking lot issues at East Blake. Mr. Beanie, that was on you too.
We having east and west parking lots. Started on the east. Parking lots are coming out good in the teacher and the bus parking lot, but the student parking lot. Back when we had the last hurricane and the famous trailer sunk out there. At least it's taking a toll. The water is underneath the asphalt, so when you bring a dump truck, you can literally sit there and see it wave. And so what they have to do is go in and do what they call a bridge, add more rock and make a base for it, because they can have the parking lot out to get it. They don't have any base structure. And it's gonna be, it was additional $155,000, but they gave a $39,000 cut in that because they're gonna use rock and then go back with the asphalt on it. So it'd be an additional to that one school, additional $115,000.
do we foresee that at West at this
No,
point?
that West is fine.
West is good.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Mr. Lennon, does anybody know whether or not this process to repair this thing is gonna hold up better for the next hurricane?
Well,
Or are we gonna,
I met with the district engineer this morning. To the recommendation where they can back what they do. On here, because they're gonna back up what they do. They started digging up some and started bringing half of them truckloads in, and it was still too heavy. But they couldn't build it that way, so they came up with what they call a bridge.
when you say they can back up what you do, does that mean if there's another hurricane and it ruins the parking lot again, does that mean
But
they can come out and
give
fix
you a
it?
warranty with, yeah,
Okay.
they back to work.
Thank you, sir.
You know how long the warranty is,
Not at this time. I can find out for you.
if you don't mind.
Yes, sir.
Do you know what material they were taking underground,
Tell you that was what?
taking out?
It looked like mud. And it's,
Clay.
yeah. They had long test rods, they were sticking, it was no release. It's push it down.
No, man.
So what do you need, exactly you need a motion for? Us to do.
The additional $115,000 to finish the parking lot. Man, yes, sir.
Do we have that, Ms. Susan?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and properly seconded that we approve the $115,000 to finish parking lot at East Bladen. Any more discussion? There is no more discussion, then all those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Okay,
Thank you, sir.
motion carries. Okay, and this time we'll go to number 10, closed session, and I'll entertain a motion that we go into closed session for the purpose of discussing personnel as per NCGS 143.3 to consult with an attorney if needed, as per NCGS 143.3, and to discuss student reassignment, student discipline as per the 1974 Family Rights and Privacy Act.
So moved. Second.
In favor, let it be known by saying aye. Likewise, motion carries. We'll go into closed session.
Second.
Our motion and a second that we come out of closed session. Any discussion? None, all in favor of coming out of closed session, let it be known by saying aye. All opposed likewise. Motion carries. We're now back in open session and Dr. Atkinson, I'll turn it over to you and Ms. Scott.
All right, thank you, Chairman Benton and board members. At this time, I recommend the board approve personnel action item list A.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly second that we approve action, the personnel action item A. Any discussion? All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. All opposed likewise. Action item
Action item B.
B.
Recommend approval, for action item B.
Chairman, I'd like to recuse myself from this vote.
Okay,
So moved.
take note of that. We got a motion and a second that we approve action item B. Any discussion? There's none. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. All opposed likewise. Is none. Action item B passes, and then we have action item C.
Yes, I recommend approval of action item C.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, move proper second that we approve action item C. Is there any discussion? There is no discussion. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. And all opposed? No. Okay, take note that Mr. Rhoda voted no on action items. Motion carries. Okay, the next thing on my list, number 12, matters of interest to the board members.
I got. Dr. Atkinson,
Yes, sir.
is there any way in the next, by the next board meeting or the board meeting after, this deal with these graduation cords every year? If there is any way to get information on how that's decided?
Yes, sir. What I can gain and share with you now is that we had worked through to try to streamline that for graduations. We did find out some cords were assigned by the school that were not on the list. We did honor those. So we are bringing together the high school principals and their graduation chairs and district admin to discuss that post-graduation, work through that. And our goal is we can share that with you all as well, and to put that as a part of the student handbook for 9-12 so that parents have all the information from day one. So we want to make sure that if the school's awarding something, that's on that list. So what happened in one instance was that school employee assigned a cord that was not on the list we weren't aware of, and that's what caused the confusion. So yes, we'll get that together. We'll share that with you all, and that was our goal when we did the press release, was to let them know that from day one, parents will have all that information in the handbook, and we'll make sure that the school that we're giving out what we say we're giving out, and we don't give out something that's not on the list that's already there.
So if there's a cord, if there's a cord that a child would earn a once in a lifetime opportunity that's not on the list, would that be something y'all could work in?
Yeah, we try to, we had some, I think it was last year, we had some of the service organizations that gave cords that were on there. We added them on there because we realized that was one. We added ROTC back on there because that was one that was some cords as well. So if we know of one, we want to get them on, because the goal is to allow a child to be recognized for what they've accomplished. Now, some districts have had issues with kids going to Amazon buying cords.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so we want to make sure that, if there's one that's not on there, that we have a process for getting that included. So we'll definitely address that in there. We're trying to make sure that, and ask our school folks, is there one that's not here that we give to make sure it's on that list?
Well, like I say, one that we had one year was Boy Scouts that was not on the list, and that was a one in a lifetime opportunity.
Yeah, and that's that was one that should be added: Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, Eagle Scout. So we want to make sure all the community and civic honors are on there, because part of that awarding of a cord is not just academics, but it's also service. So we'll definitely make sure we get them added for sure. But we'll provide you all a list of that. If y'all know of something that's not on there that you all see, let us know. We'll get it added. But I think we need to put that in there today, but also have a process if something comes up that we can add it on there. And maybe that's something that I can review as superintendent and add to the.
And I hope it's across the board. No,
Right.
in between the
Yeah.
two high schools.
Right, we want, and that's our goal. That was our intent this year, was that we've got consistency across all three graduations.
Dr. Dax, some little community colleges, will they be able to wear their cores too? If they're gonna walk the stage, you're gonna be able to bring it, carry that over?
Yeah,
I mean, I know
yeah.
that's been a concern as well.
Right, anything they would earn at BCC, we would allow them to do as well, because some of the early college students did that. I don't know that BCC will allow our cords to be worn at their graduation, but
Right.
I'm not,
Sure.
but I'm pretty confident that we would be able to do that. And there's probably some cords that we could award that we don't have. So we really want to get our hands deep in it and say, give every chance for every child to be recognized with whatever it is that they do. So I know that's been a source of heartburn for many years.
Yes.
Not just the last year or two, but for quite a while. And so my philosophy has always benefit the child regardless. So that's why in this case, we found out that was done. It was our decision to move forward with it because it's not the child's fault. It was an oversight on our end, and it shouldn't have happened, but we wanted to honor that. Yes, sir.
I got something I want. I was wondering if, I guess the procedure when a staff member comes in, and when they do that Title IX training, they read something and sign off on it. Well, is there any kind of way that we could bring somebody in to train our staff members with Title IX? I know they did this in the military with me, they did it probation. Everybody trained maybe a day. Training people instead of stuff. So it's not a way we could get something like that done.
Yes, sir. We could look at
Check
it.
on that.
We will, because what they've been using now has been online modules, but there's actually a change coming to Title IX that's been delayed. So I think that definitely we could look into someone, and we could work in our work days at the beginning of the year, or in a work day toward the beginning of the year.
Yeah, and I think that would stop a lot of this we
Right.
have going on.
We could even honestly make it a part of our convocation. If it's gonna be for all employees, everybody's already there anyway, we could do that as a part of that too.
Yeah, okay.
I'll look into that for you, yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Mhm.
Anybody else got anything? Board? Move to 13, now make it short and sweet. Turn it over to the superintendent, number 14.
Thank you, Chairman Benton and board members. Just want to bring a few things to your awareness. Senate Bill 406 and House Bill 823. That is the Opportunity Scholarship Program. We've seen that in the news. What this basically does is proposing expansion of vouchers to attend private school. What it ends up being is money taken away from the public school system to fund vouchers. Typically, those have been income-based. I think the premise of the bill is to look at taking away the income. It would be part of it. Anybody could qualify for those if they so choose. The Office of State Budget Management, at the direction of the governor, did some study based on some data that they had. It was proposed that around 75 kids additional may take advantage of that for Bladen County by 26, 27. Could be larger, but that's just an estimate. I'm not sure how they got to that particular number, but they said that Bladen could lose up to $886,000 of state money just with that number of students as it relates to the voucher system. So very detrimental. One thing that I serve as, I've been as secretary for our Sand Hills Superintendent's Consortium. We have a regional educational consortium that serves our region. Our executive director, Dr. Ron Hargrave, is a retired superintendent. He's our executive director and supports us. They have drafted a letter on behalf of our school systems. Unless the board objects, I obviously want to use Bladen County's data in it because they want the districts to spell out what the impact is for them and then show what it will be for our region. Because you all know that we're in a rural district. Our most urban area is Cumberland and Moore. That's our two districts that are, and even there, Cumberland still has poverty in this district. It's not an urban, necessarily in terms of by definition, you have some urban areas with Fayetteville, but that's a concern. So we're drafting that on behalf of our region, which represents all of our school districts. And unless someone objects, we'll continue to move forward with that. I think that's important because there's power in numbers when we can band together as systems to do that and to try to move. I am fortunate that we did the bill that would have increased funding to charter schools stalled out, didn't make crossover. So we don't have to worry about that one at this point, and unless they tie something back in the budget bill. You know, the budget bill is not always just the budget. Sometimes they put other parameters in a budget bill to get it through. So we want to make sure NCASA, which is the Association of School Administrators, North Carolina State Superintendent Association, and even the North Carolina School Board Association is watching that very closely. They've got, you know, for our membership dues and things, we've got folks on the ground advocating on our behalf that these things are taken care of. So that's important. State budget, we don't have one. The Senate came out with their version. House didn't like it, so we're in negotiations at this point. And we don't know what that's going to look like. We don't know when that's going to be. Ms. Harrison, I think it was what, last year, year before last, it was November, December before we got a state budget. We had to go back and retro pay salary increases and all that kind of stuff. So I'm hoping they'll come out with something soon so we can move forward. We are right now in our summer intensive and second chance testing taking place this week. So schools are working. Our Read to Achieve camp, that's for second and third grade reading. That's going on now. That's going to continue on through the 27th. That'll be at all elementary schools. We do have students on all campuses right now this week. Taking advantage of that, we're hoping that some of those, several students were right on the cusp for getting proficiency. It's kind of crazy because some of the percentages for level 4, level 5 is almost astronomical that a kid, if you want a kid to make a 95% to be a level 4 and proficiency is 3, 4, and 5, that's not realistic. And you know, I'm myself and several of our administrators are a part of working groups on this school accountability performance grade. In fact, Mr. Davis, you may have heard some of that today in sessions at the conference, but we're a part of that where we're trying to get more weight on growth and other factors and get that 80% off of a test grade. Our schools are measured off of a test grade, 80% for their school performance grade, which is absurd. Because we know if we look at our data and, you know, we'll be able to hopefully have a presentation for you coming maybe next month or two, because that stuff's embargoed right now, so we can't share it out. Because we've got second chance testing, all that stuff's got to be done and folks across the state. So I anticipate probably maybe August board meeting, maybe September before we can get deep into that with you all, because they do embargo that data. But you'll see where our schools are growing children. We're growing, children are growing. But that school accountability grade that shows now doesn't give the truth about that growth. You've only got 20% weight on what that growth is that goes to that. And our folks are beating the bushes down in our schools, working hard to move children. And that's not being recognized by our state right now with the accountability grade that we have. And so we're hoping, I know there's supposed to be a pilot, state board, we got to make a recommendation. That's going to take an active legislation to change, because that is in legislation for the 80-20 formula. So we're a part of that work group and several of those work groups, and we're trying to get that done. I shared last month about the 4-day work week for schools and departments that starts the 19th of June. Got some good news. This came in Friday. We have been parts of a discussion and a grant application with UNC Chapel Hill, and that's their Department of Pediatrics, Department of Psychiatry. Dr. Michael Steiner is a pediatrician with UNC. He's also professor of pediatrics and has been working closely with us, also bringing on Novant Health, New Hanover Regional Medical Center. But the goal, the grant title was creating a community-minded mental health network. And we know that there's not a lot of mental health and support resources here in our area, even for adults. Just the clinics, we don't have it, the access to it. Folks try to get appointments. They're 3, 4, 5, 6 months out. Some folks that may need therapy. Even some of the data they talked about was from our veterans, and even from the smallest to our veterans, and PTSD and all those things that folks struggle with, anxiety, depression. There's just not quality medical resources in our area. And obviously since COVID, we've seen an uptick of some of those kind of things. So this grant is actually an innovative model that Bladen County Schools is forced to be a part of. We're the only district that's a part of this grant opportunity. It's been funded by the Duke Endowment, and the amount of the grant is $1,250,000 for 2 years. And what would happen is that it would embed mental health clinicians in the schools and utilize virtual technology to incorporate other experts and leading specialists in that area in child and adolescent psychiatry, consultation with pharmacy and other pediatric specialists. If there's a child that had a need for a pediatric neurologist, it would be able to do that. Obviously, it would require parental consent and all that kind of thing. We wouldn't be going around the parents' rights, but the parents will be involved in that. But there's a referral process. We would allow parents to take advantage of that. That would be at no cost to them. So if there's, a lot of times it's hard to find even specialists in other areas. So a part of that would be able to provide that care. It also involves the community care of Lower Cape Fear Hospital, Lower Cape Fear, and they'll be helping to manage that. So we'll have a pharmacy provider, medical provider, counseling and therapy options. But again, that would be available for families to take advantage of, and we'll be able to do it as a part of the school day if that need was there. So again, requires parental consent. We're not going to go around parents, but it's just an option that we have. And I think it will provide some much needed resources for some of our students. We even know even in the EC process, sometimes we have to do referrals to outside agencies. And sometimes that takes some time and it delays the process. This would put providers much more readily available to do it. So obviously, if the families approve that initial consent, they become a part of UNC's MyChart system. So that child's family physician, everyone's involved in the care of that student. And obviously, they have provisions to make sure we don't violate HIPAA and we don't violate FERPA or anything like that. So all that stuff's taken care of. So we'll know more information. In fact, Dr. Steiner has offered to come at some point once we have some final details and share some things with the board. So we'll actually have him do that. But I think it's a great opportunity. We're the only district in the state. We'll be a pace setter for this program that they can look at trying to expand. And UNC School of Medicine has actually committed, they've done an agreement with New Hanover to try to expand even more specialties for pediatrics in our area. So families, that some folks are bound by travel and are not able to get to certain appointments. So we want to take all those barriers away. And so we have a great opportunity here for this to kickstart and they hope that it can be sustained and something that the state will undertake. So we're very thankful for that and look forward to what these opportunities will be for us. And we'll provide more information and have him here to get the board some more details about getting started with that.
That's great.
Now, what do we have to do to get that money?
It's there, it's awarded. Duke Endowment. Chapel Hill will be the manager of that because it'll go toward the expense of the clinicians and all.
The thing that scares me about it, you said it's coming from Chapel Hill, who knows? But anyway, what got hid in it?
Right. So it requires, there's nothing at all that's going to be done without parents. So it's just like they would be going to, a doctor's office. Parents have got to get consent for any kind of discussion, treatment, referral, all that kind of thing. So, it's going beyond just the mental health side. If there's a child that needs a neurologist or a child that may need audiologist or something like that, it makes those gateways for them to have access to those specialties, maybe without having to even leave Bladen County to get that access, even if it is through a virtual means. So
Yeah,
We are high poverty county, and they probably gonna study this, man.
yeah, they pulled some numbers on us. We were one of the statistics that stuck out for them. But we'll know more once we move forward. Like I said, that was a very highly compared. Duke Endowment does a lot of different grants for different opportunities. And in fact, the folks say that we're not trying to be discouraging to the district or even to UNC, because they did the bulk of this work. We just discussed making that opportunity available because we thought it would be a good option for parents that would like to exercise that for their kid. Yes, sir.
So how many psychiatrists or psychologists do we have?
We have
right now.
We have one that's tied up mostly with EC referrals. That's a hard position to find because a lot of those folks make more money in the clinic setting than they would in a school setting. And this is what was tough last year. Part of the budget bill was to fund school psychologists, and they would not let you transfer that money out to contract one if you didn't have one. I think we finally got to a point where they were going to allow, since we already had one in place, but it was too late to do anything. So now they're looking, part of the one, I don't know if it's House or Senate, I have to go back and read it. One of them is proposing to make it a student health services budget line that you could use it for additional nurses and other kinds of staff as well if you could not find that. We're doing some contracted psychological services now through EC, because they just can't get to everybody. But having that readily access will definitely help expedite some of the referrals and things that have come through. So, on June 28th, we'll need to have a special call board meeting. We can start at 5:30. We'll need to do this for the purpose of doing financial close out. We'll need the board to do any final budget amendments that night and to allow us to do a continuation for to operate under our current budget for the 23-24 school year. You had a part of that tonight in the consent agenda, but what we need to do is close that. That allows Ms. Harrison that very next day to get everything ready to send to DPI to zero us out on that. Also that night, we will need to have a closed session as well for personnel and to reserve the right to take any action on personnel if needed. So we'll be sending the advertisement out, but I'll send you all a reminder as well. June 28th here in the boardroom at 5:30.
What day of the week is that?
That's a Wednesday. That's a Wednesday. If you need an option to join virtually, we can provide that if there's anything like that. So if you have that need, let us know. We can provide that if you're not able to attend in person that evening. Also, our next regular scheduled board meeting is July the 10th. We are working to set up a tour of the construction at Tar Heel for you all. It may be where we do the tour and have our meeting there. As long as we advertise the location of the meeting, we'll be okay, rather than having to drive all the way back here. That's always an option. So I mentioned to Mr. Ben Brisson, the site superintendent there. So we'll give you some more information by that June 28th meeting, how that'll work. So we'll do that. Also, there was an article shared. I need to clarify this here, and I might have Ms. Harrison chime in. Border Belt Independent is a news outlet. There was an article titled that Bladen County is among 20 rural districts to be penalized by the state. We have not received anything from DPI saying we've been penalized by the state.
There was also a News and Observer.
Right. So Ms. Harrison, can you talk about what they're, because you're more versed in that than I am, about the pot of money they're talking about? There was a couple of different pots that came, but you can explain to the board, if you don't mind, about that funding that we received, its intent, what we received from DPI for the intent of that funding.
Okay, just to clear this up, this just came out today and I was kind of shocked when I saw it too, because we haven't been notified by DPI about anything. But the pot and what the article is stating is that there's 20 low wealth public school districts in North Carolina that their officials are saying that were misused state funds meant for teacher bonuses. This money was last year, the 21-22 school year and 22-23 school year. The state gave us a pot of money to pay. It was called supplemental teacher funding. And we were to take that pot of money. They gave us directions on how to use this money. You could not use this money to take precedence over what you already did, like our local supplement. We couldn't use this money to pay our local supplement. This money was specifically to be used to pay certified personnel. That would be personnel that are on the teacher pay scale. For like 21-22, we got $780 some thousand, I think. And we were to take that pot of money, divide it by the number of certified positions we had, and then that's what their bonus was. Same thing happened the 22, this school year, 22-23 school year. We got a lot more money this year, so their bonuses were more. But for some reason, somebody is interpreting this that 20 districts have misused this money by us using that money instead of the local supplement, or federal pays part of that supplement that they get every year. But a majority of it is the local funding. And we have not received anything from DPI that states that we have misused this funding. We had to go they told us how to use the money, and that's how we use the money.
If y'all recall, remember pre-K teachers question why they didn't get the money. That was that instructions said it had to be a K-12. Y'all remember that the question came from pre-K teachers.
We talked about that.
Right. There was a separate part that they got and got COVID-1 money.
That's right.
So
Principals don't even get.
principals don't get it. Central office don't get it. Yeah, right. As of right now, principals don't get paid for pre-K. Now, one of the budget bills is adding pre-K to the ADM if it passes. But with this funding cannot go to an administrator. It had to be a classroom teacher defined person. There's very limited people that fall in that object code that are paid that way.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, pre-K was not, I know that caused some issues, but when we do things as a district, we try to include everybody. And that was tough, but that was the instructions we went off of. So we followed everything based on our reading of what DPI told us. Now, if the state board and DPI misinterpreted, that responsibility should fall back on them and not the school district. But we have not been made aware of any issue with that.
None at all. And I've talked to a couple other districts that are feeling the same way we are. They've not been notified by anybody, but yet they've seen this article that come out today that says that we've misused money. And that's not correct because we went exactly by the policy, the guidelines that they sent us from DPI with this pot of money.
You just seen that today?
Mhm.
I seen that a week ago and nobody talked about it.
Oh, really?
I'll tell you.
I just saw it today.
And I'll tell you, I promise you, if there's an issue with funding and DPI, they're the first ones to see something.
That's right.
Those federal programs, they review that stuff left and right. I mean, when we had those reviews, they're always looking. One final thing for me, just to kind of get a board update, local budget most likely will be approved by the county commissioners tonight.
Yep.
Because they have to notify us by June 30th of that. And as I shared with you all, I sent an email to you, the proposed increase ends up being what they gave us last year as a one-time appropriation for the county's portion of SROs. And based on what Ms. Harrison calculated, the increase will allow us to do the 2% across the board supplement increase. So that's a win. But the other items that we asked for when you take that amount, it calculates to those two things, like the teacher assistants and other things we asked about, and that was not included in that. Unless they have a change tonight. Ms. Harrison and I went last Monday. They had a public hearing. No one spoke. We were present, and the commissioners were able to talk to. We thanked them for the support, and just let them know that we were authentic in what we asked for. But that's kind of where we are. So if we usually we'll get a letter. So if we get that tomorrow, that shows that, I'll send it to you. If there's any difference, we'll explain what it is, but we're anticipating that amount. So we will be able to next year do the 2% across the board increase. That will take our non-certified who had a 0 supplement before last year. They got 2 this year, takes into 4, and all other areas go up 2%. So our teachers, is one example, will be at 8%, which is much more competitive in the region. So unless they have a change that we don't know about, it looks like our budget will support that and the SRO. So really the only net gain really is the supplement difference and the cost of benefits because of the anticipated state budget increase. That's what I was covering.
Do the maintenance guys get any of that supplement?
Everybody gets it.
Okay.
Every employee that. So I would say 2% across the board. Every employee gets a 2% increase to where they're at now on that. So, and we typically for non-certified, we pay that to them in January because that's that month that everybody has that 6-week pay period. So we do that early in January so that people will be able to have some money because everybody's spending money for Christmas. So, we do that there. So our non-certified staff was very appreciative this year when we put that 2% in there. And to be able to at least get that for them and for all employees, I think is a win. We'll take the victories as they come, but it doesn't mean that we stop advocating for additional resources because, as any other county does, the county government has an obligation to support school systems statutorily required, as well as the state. So I just want to kind of share that. But as soon as Ms. Harrison or I get that notice from the county, what that file is, we'll share that with you all. And Chairman Benton, that's all I have for you all this evening.
Okay, well, the next on my item is adjourned. We'll entertain a motion. So.
Second.
A motion and a second.